I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is another paid request, this time from Frame by Frame. It is for this. It's something on YouTube. It's a 3-hour parody of the Magic Railroad. And thankfully, I'm like 3 hours, but Frame by Frame paid quite a bit, so I do appreciate that through my PayPal. Because I'm sitting there going, who the hell asked for a 3-hour parody of Thomas the Tank Engine? I will say, though, for the most part, it's better than the actual Thomas the Tank Engine movie from, like, 2000 that had Alec Baldwin. At least this... I don't know much about Thomas the Tank Engine, but you could tell this is not only low budget by fans, that there's some passion involved with this, and there's definitely ambition. I'll say that. There's definitely ambition. The fact, I mean, it's fucking 3 hours long. I don't think it needed to be 3 hours long. I really did not. And honestly, halfway through, I got really checked out from this movie. And then the second half, it was hard for me to pay attention, because I'm sitting there, I'm going, this is way too fucking long, man. 3 hours. For any parody, even if it's a fan, even from people who are fans, as for shits and giggles, you know, on YouTube, 3 hours is way too fucking long. I'm sorry, someone needed to come by with as an editor, or cut this, cut that out, and I get it. You try and do a parody on this movie that barely anyone remembers. But yeah, I guess they're really hardcore fans of Thomas the Tank Engine. I didn't know Thomas the Tank Engine was still a thing. Like, I didn't know anyone really cared about Thomas the Tank Engine nowadays. Shows how much I knew. Because the video got a lot of views. But hey, you're passionate about something, you got something made, I commend them for it. I really do. I commend them for that. And the story of the parody is, you know, this guy, he loves drawing trains. It's about the 60s or so. He's in love with this girl who's in love with someone else. He wants to go to Woodstock, this music and art fair, Woodstock. And when he's trying to get there, this little tiny guy appears. And the guy goes, "What the fuck? You're a tiny Australian man." The guy's like, "No, I'm from Liverpool. England? You know where the Beatles are?" One thing leads to another in the conversation, and he leads the guy to the world of Thomas and steam engines. And like I said, it does have a sense of humor that works for what it's trying to do. You have a narrator that goes, "Hey, you've probably seen the original if you're watching this. Don't get your pains in the twist. We'll get to something." So there's 50 years later, and you're in Shining Time Station, and you're in the world of Thomas the Tank Engine. You have this guy who plays the son of the conductor. I would say, as a parody, I don't know what works, what doesn't, in the fact of I'm not knowledgeable on Thomas the Tank Engine. Someone's going to ask me, why did this person request this? I don't know, but hey, it was a request, so I'm doing it. I'm sure if you're a bigger fan of Thomas the Tank Engine, you'll get more out of this than I could. And yeah, I did see the one movie with Alec Baldwin and the little girl who played Matilda. I forget her name. She was in it. I think it came out like 2000. I saw it. I don't remember anything about it. I know Peter Fonda was in it, and it was awful. Like this, I would put above that, because this one at least got some chuckles out of me. Like with some of the trains and how they replicated, and how they're replicating the style of the show back in the day. And you have this red train named James talking like getting pissed at a fly, whatever, you fucking little buzzy fuck, little prick, fuck off. Or because he's red, someone calls him Clifford. A guy, and he goes, Clifford, yeah, you're big red bitch and get in the way. I thought that was funny. You know, Clifford the big red dog. Clifford, Clifford, yeah, you're big red bitch that gets in the way. Again, there's lines of dialogue like that I didn't see coming. I thought they were rather funny. And I thought the guy who played the conductor, he's a guy with the gold dust. Like the wrestler? No. Gold dust. And of course they do the obvious jokes of that's like drug use. And each time he does it, he gets a bit high. You know, that kind of stuff. That I'm sure if you watch the show, you think to yourself, yeah, this gold dust reminds you of drugs. Well, they go that obvious route. But I thought the guy who played conductor, I thought he was the better actor in the movie. I mean, these are not established actors. I mean, this was a fan-made project. But again, I'm saying the guy who played the conductor, I thought he was the best of... Like, he kind of knew what kind of movie he was in. He was going along with it. I say that because there's some people that, even though, yes, this is a fan project, I thought they were fucking terrible. I do think if you cut their stories out, it would have been better. Just... It does try to follow the story of that movie. That again, who knows how many people actually remember, where this other engine, not steam engine, but diesel, like this diesel engine wants to take over because he's like, fuck steam engines, but we need to find this other hidden steam engine, and that's hidden somewhere else. And so sometimes you're in the real world, and you have the old guy supposed to be Peter Fonda, and you have the girl that's supposed to be Mara Wilson. Wasn't that her name in the original movie? Who was also in the film Matilda with Danny DeVito? Is that Mara Wilson? Is that her name? Yeah, this girl is trying to be her. All that shit is fucking awful. I think you could easily take away the guy at the beginning in the 60s, the guy from Liverpool. You could take all that shit out. You take away the old actor, who's that person 50 years later, and his granddaughter. Because that old guy and the girl that plays his granddaughter, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but they're fucking awful. They're fucking terrible. They're fucking atrocious. And they did not need to be in this. You know what? I get that you want to parody that movie, but number one, it's 3 hours long. Number two, they're doing a bad job acting-wise, even for a fan film. And number three, you got elements, just parody Thomas the Tank Engine and make it better. Like, you don't need all the other shit. All you need was the conductor, the being in that world, the trains, the engines themselves, as you say, the engines themselves. All that stuff in there would work better, and do work better than the stuff in the real world. It's like if I'm watching the actual movie, and if I say which is better, yeah, take out the real world shit, just leave it in. Granted, almost everything sucked in that movie. Here, yeah, at least the stuff in the fantasy world, Thomas the Tank Engine's world worked for the most part. For example, the Diesel has this claw named Pinchy, which you find out deals with this AI intelligence, this project called D10, and I thought it was kind of funny that the claw will sometimes talk to him. Remember Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2? How the claw would kind of talk to Doc Ock? This does the same thing to him, and he calls it Pinchy, because it's a claw Pinchy. I thought that was clever. I thought that was clever. I thought that was humorous. Yeah, these two bumbling sidekicks to the villain, which they're the bumbling sidekicks, but they're always talking about these awe-inspiring novels and how they're so sophisticated with all these novels they read, even though they're the bumbling fools of the bad guy. Like the other moments, there's a point where the conductor gets on the engine and he looks over and there's a wooden doll talking to him. And talk about how his wife left him. And he's like, yeah, it'll be okay. It's kind of like blowing him off. Like one pretty fun gag is the conductor wants to be up on the higher ladder of business success, get a promotion, so to speak. So he's looking over and he sees a picture of his boss, and the conductor is human, but the boss is a wooden doll, and it's a painting. So he looks over and the painting's looking at him. Okay. He's looking at something like he's going to try on the hat. And he looks over, and all of a sudden the wooden doll in the painting has a gun on him. And then the guy puts his hands up, then cuts away, and not only does he have the gun, but now he's pointing at him. Okay, fuck, I'll take it off. Puts the hat back, and then the gun's down, but he's still looking at him sternly. I'm doing a piss poor job explaining it, but like that was a funny gag. The way that was done, the way that was edited together, like that was good. That I liked. There's even a moment that's gotta be an ode to Spaceballs, where the conductor has all the dolls, the Thomas the Tank Engine, and is doing this. Just when someone calls in, he does this like Rick Moranis does. I'm like, okay, I get you. I love Spaceballs as well. I get you, man. Yeah, I appreciate the reference. There's one line, because in the original movie, Alec Baldwin gets lost. He's trying to find a windmill. He's traveling the hills and mountains. Well, this guy's doing the same thing because he's trying to be a parody of that movie. And there's a couple who are like pretty much everyone else's dolls except the conductor. And they're talking and they're going, that looks like Alec Baldwin dressed as a train conductor. And the other person goes, oh, that's why he acts like an asshole. I'm like, yeah, Alec Baldwin's an asshole, I'll tell you that. Sorry if you're wondering why I'm doing this. My eyes have been messing up lately, so I gotta have a wet towel to dry it off. It's a bit sore. So, oh yeah, like there's stuff I like. In the first half, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying it. There's even a point where he gets grabbed by the bad guy Diesel, and the conductor can't get the pliers. And he, fuck you, pliers! And he picks up the pliers with his middle finger. But then the second half of the film starts, and it really dragged, because then the second half is, oh, that kid at the beginning of the film, oh, the narrator goes, I bet you thought I forgot about him. I'm like, I don't give a shit about him. Oh, this is who he is 50 years later. And it's a guy who's not a good actor, who seems like he's trying to remember his dialogue. I know that's rude and blunt, but I'm just saying how I feel. And then there's this girl who looks like she's 45, but she's the daughter. I don't know how old she is, but she looks 45. She looks like someone's mom. And that's rude, I know. I shouldn't go. That's a cheap shot. I'll take. I mean, that is how I feel, but it's a cheap shot. It's a cheap shot. I'm not much to. I shouldn't talk, is what I'm saying. I shouldn't fucking talk about anyone else like that. Again, I have no room to talk. Look at me. At the end of the day, if they had fun and they had passion for it, I can get that. But I am sorry, I don't think they did a good job. In the acting, I don't think they did a good job with the characters of those. I wish they were not in the film. And for something that's 3 hours long, and I'm looking in my mind what could be cut out, this entire plot line with the guy from the 60s and he's 50 years old, and then his buddy who he knew in school who hates him now, but just during school the guy took the girlfriend he liked from the guy who was with the girl. I didn't give a shit about any of that. I didn't give a fuck about any of that. I did not care. I think that could be all cut out, and it would actually be a better, faster-paced parody. And just any parody that tries to go 3 hours, in my opinion, you're asking a lot from the viewer. And I get it. I get that I shouldn't really be that harsh because it's made for free. As in, they can't monetize it. They can't make money off it because otherwise they get sued. It's just meant for fun and to be, it's free. But at the same time, I'm just giving my criticisms about it. And if they stuck with Thomas the Tank Engine, the world he was in, even the stuff with the conductor, perhaps even the stuff with his nephew, to me, you could get rid of that too, honestly, because I didn't give a shit about the nephew who loves to be on the beach, and I didn't even care about him. Like, honestly, if you stood with the conductor, Thomas the Tank Engine, all the other engines, the Diesel's buddies, the Diesel's little pinchy, like, dot tentacle thing. Like, if you stood with all that, I think it would be a lot better. I really do. I think because then the second half, it just dragged and dragged with just, I'm watching the granddaughter and her grandpa, and I can't get this engine to work, and I don't know what to do, and my buddy, hey, you took my girl away when we were in school, I hate you. I don't care. I really did not care. And then they get the engine working, and it's a purple female engine off, and going through dimensions from the real world to their world. Of course, because it's a fan project, the effects are not going to be much to look at on that front. Again, that really, truly dragged the film out. Because that to me is the detriment of this. That stuff which led to this 3-hour-long parody. And it did not need to be that. So overall, I would say this. If you're at all interested in parodies, if you're at all interested in fan projects, if you're at all interested in Thomas the Tank Engine, if you're at all interested in seeing some of the scenes I mentioned, like I do think the bit with the conductor and the painting, the painting holds a gun on him, like the way that's done it, I thought that was the funniest scene in the movie, in the fan movie. I really do. Moments like that work. Like the first half of the film, as flawed as it is not that bad. The second half, when they introduce these other characters more and more so, just not needed. Not needed, and I don't know why they're there. I know again, people say, well, because those type of characters were in the original movie that this is a parody of. I understand that, but then you look at the product and you go, okay, we have this 3 hours. You know what? I think it would serve it better if you cut this, this, and this character out. And in my opinion, well, this stuff is the best. Just showcase that. And you can actually make a couple things. And instead of being a parody of that movie, you can take elements out of that movie and just make your own comedy version of Thomas the Tank Engine. That's the thing. You can make your Thomas the Tank Engine parody, but it doesn't mean you have to follow so much of that original movie. Obviously they didn't because it was 3 hours, so there's a lot of stuff added, but just overbloated. I do think it's very much overbloated. And again, because it's a fan film, the acting is not really going to be that up to par. Neither is the production value. You kind of take on face value with that nature. So I really don't know what else to say. I give credit to their ambition. I give credit to them getting it done. I give credit for, no matter what I say, they put work into it. Well, I thought the way they did the trains to replicate the look and feel of the old Thomas the Tank Engine, which I remember bits and pieces of back in the day, they did a fairly good representation of that. They really did. And you could tell these are fans, and there's nothing soulless about this. There's good intentions. There's good intentions. I just think there's some type of wrangling in that need to be done. In my opinion, some wrangling in need to be done. But there are some fun moments. The conductor sees the diesel. As you see this? This is cocaine. I'll shove this down your nose and overdose you in 2 seconds. And the diesel like... And then some people like, what? Did he say cocaine? Well, I would say like that guy, the conductor, was the best actor in the movie, like I said. But I'm repeating myself. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.